All right, so I tried a couple of things yesterday. Didn't really get anywhere with this, but I did go through the carburetor and clean up a couple of things. I think it was just kind of gummy, and the choke doesn't work at all. But whatever on that. I am not going to mess with that right now. But if I manually choke it, I actually do get it to idle. So let's take a look. There we go. It runs. It runs. And you can see I pulled the rest of the front accessories off for right now, and I've got the timing cover off. I was trying to do some timing inspection just to make sure it was on. Similar to what I had on the turbo motor, kind of inverse. I'm using this motor to determine things I have to do to the turbo motor to get it to work. So let's just take a look here. So you can see, now don't mind the very front pulley because that's bent, but that one is actually not needed. But there's the ignition gear, and there is the cam gear, or sprocket actually on this. It's belt driven. I want to make sure that top dead center down below is what on the cam. You can see I'm pulled the rest of this accessory drive stuff off. I'm going to get that bracket off of there too. And I pulled all of this side off. This was the alternator and the power steering pump. That's all gone. You might reuse the alternator setup, but definitely don't need the power steering stuff. That little carburetor, that's a little Weber based carburetor. I'm going to try and get that working better. Maybe put that on one of the 200s. A good little carburetor if I get rid of all the emissions garbage that was laden down on it. You can see there's a lot of stuff not hooked up even, and honestly a lot of stuff that didn't need to be hooked up, but we'll get it working. The coil was actually a problem, and not originally. It actually was firing off of the original coil, but on Saturday it just had a really weak spark. I fiddled around with it for a while and I just didn't get anywhere with it. So I found the coil from the old Maverick project that I did a year ago and put that coil on it. You can see that guy right there. And it fired right up. Way nicer spark. Way better. Just, I think a lot of the problems that I was having on Friday evening were just weak spark. And who knows, that coil, that old coil, you can see it laying over there by the battery, that thing might be 30 years old. 40 years old, heck. So that's where we stand. The little Mustang 2 motor, it runs, and it runs as described in the previous post. It runs really well. Yeah, unfortunately it's not going to be long for this world. It's going to donate most of itself to the turbo motor. You can see the turbo motor over here. But that's exactly what I needed. It fits the bill perfectly.